everyone and welcome back to the channel for another video. So in today's video I'm going to be going through my storage. A lot of people have been asking me for a very long time to go through how I do my storage in game, how I kind of organize everything and how I divide everything up. I do want to say before this video starts, if you do hear any random noises, sniffling, snoring, I'm currently sat here with a baby on my chest, so she's snoozing away. So if you do hear some noises, apologies, that is what it is, in case anyone is like, what is that sound? But she's asleep, so we should be okay. But I wanted to obviously record this and get it out for you guys because you guys have been waiting for so long, some of you, for a kind of breakdown of my storage and how I do it. So let's get started. So as you can see, if you go up to the second floor of my main house, this is where I have my storage. I know a lot of people do their storage outdoors, or they'll do like a whole floor. I just like having it all quite condensed in one place. So as you can see, I've decorated each different wall for the storage that is there, and then I have some chests in this room which are my event chests. So this is where I put all the different event items. I like to keep them separate so I can access them easily, and I use some of the Aladdin chests for this because obviously they are easy to craft, they're very cheap, and also they look quite nice out here and match the frames above them quite nicely. So as you can see, I've got everything kind of organized into specific sections depending on what event they are. I also have some items in here that are quest items that we never actually used up, and they kind of just end up sat in your inventory for some reason. So I just keep those in there in case we ever need them, but I think for the most part a lot of them we'll never need. But they just kind of sat in here in these chests as well, and there's a lot of space left in these obviously for future events, because obviously they're adding events all the time, and also obviously to add more from existing events. As well as that, in here I have a bunch of cooked food that I use a lot in dream snaps, so I decided rather than just getting rid of them, I would keep them in this chest so when I do a dream snap that involves food and things like that, I can access them easily. Now moving on to the first room, this is my base game room, so this is obviously the first room I did. So I just went with a really simple kind of floral design for it and just kind of started arranging it with some of the items that I felt like fit the base game. And as you can see, I've used the large white storage chests all around the room. I crafted these a long time ago. Obviously they're very expensive to craft, so if I was doing this now I probably would use the Aladdin ones or something cheaper, but obviously I had these all crafted already anyway, so I decided to stick with them. And as you can see, I used some of the frozen counters from the premium shop to display the items above the chests that have like correlating items to them. I do this in all three rooms just because I love being able to see what each chest is for. Obviously by this point I know from memory which chest is which, for the most part, but I still like to have them displayed here. I think it just looks much nicer and also just makes things a lot easier. As well as that, in here I obviously have one of our base crafting tables, to obviously mean I can craft things in here if I need to, and also kind of keep things organized. Now as you can see, I'm going to kind of go through each storage chest, and as you can see I've basically organized them into correlating things. So a lot of the, you know, mined items are all in the same place. We've got a lot of the flowers all in the same place, and all the flowers are in color order, they're not in biome. I did used to have them in biomes, so I'd have a chest for each biome, which I know a lot of people do that, but I personally just like the idea of being able to have them in colors. It helped me with dream snaps if I was ever looking for a specific color, and I don't know, this is how I chose to do it. I feel like doing it like this but also doing it in biome is really handy because then you know which flowers from which biome. Obviously at this point of the game and how long I've been playing, I remember which flowers are from which biome, so it's not kind of that difficult for me to figure that out, but obviously that is a really good option if you're looking for that. Same as with fish and things like that. I don't have any of this correlated into biomes. If I wanted to be really, you know, organized, I could do this. I feel like it would probably be quite satisfying to do. But for now, I decided that was not what I wanted to do. Obviously, everything in this room, as you can see as I'm going through the chest, is everything in the base game. Obviously, excluding the event items, which are outside. But it is everything from, you know, food, craft, mining items, things you dig up, things you fish out, gems, everything is in here. I know a lot of people do their storage where they have a room for each specific thing, which I highly respect because you can definitely stockpile more resources. You could definitely, if you did like a room just for gems or a room just for fish, you would definitely have a lot more than I have. It would probably make your life so much easier when it came to, you know, having a full stock of everything and being able to craft things easily and cook things easily and not run out. Personally, I did this on purpose. I like to have, you know, a couple of stacks of each thing that because it means that I have to still grind in the game. I will run out of things eventually, like I'll run out of certain vegetables and have to go and harvest a bunch. I'll run out of certain fish, so I know I need to go and catch some. It just gives me a reason in game to still do those mundane tasks. Obviously I don't have to do them very often because I have, you know, quite a lot of everything, some more than others, but I just like the idea of still having that grind and still having to go out and collect those resources. I'm just personally not one of those people who, you know, wants to have a million of everything and then never have to touch it again. Obviously some things that is better for than others, like coins and things, but for actual resources I just decided some things I have a lot, some things I don't, and it gives me, you know, some purpose in the game to continue to go and do that grinding. So overall, as you can see with the base game storage room, it's pretty simple. As I said, I could definitely tweak this and probably change everything so that it's biome specific. I could do that at some point, honestly, because I feel like that probably would be quite satisfying. I did used to do that a long time ago, so I could definitely maybe tweak and change that, but for now I'm happy with where everything is. I know what's in every single chest. And it makes life a lot easier when it comes to stockpiling things and also making sure that I know where I'm grabbing things from in a hurry. Now the next room we're going to move on to is our Rift in Time Eternity R room. As you can see, I went through a much more futuristic approach with this room, so I kind of decorate the outside to match that, and as we go in you can obviously see it fits that kind of theme. I made this before the DLC came out, and so I kind of wanted to make it themed to the room, which is, as you'll see with my next room as well, is the same kind of concept. So I went for this more kind of Ancients Landing futuristic theme. As you can see in here, I went with the white chests again. I actually had quite a few left over from the original storage room, so I decided to do those in here as well. I did consider changing them out for a different color, but it just seemed like such a waste of Dreamlight, honestly, to just craft them in different colors, so I stuck with them. As you can see, there's a lot less chests in this room because obviously the DLCs have a lot less resources than the base game, but I went with the same kind of design of having the tables behind. I went with tables in here instead of counters because I wanted to display more stuff, and also kind of just change it up from the base game storage room. And as you can see, I've gone for the same kind of organization. I've got a lot of the different items all categorized together. Again, these aren't categorized by biome, which is something I definitely could do. I think it would probably be quite beneficial, but for now they are not categorized by biome. But obviously they all go around the edge. We've obviously got things like flowers and stuff, again, are all color coordinated, so the same kind of theme, just obviously a lot less resources in here than in my base game room. One, because there are less resources in the DLCs, but also because I have not stockpiled as many resources from especially the Eternity Isle DLC. It's something I need to actually do, because some things I have loads of and some things I have barely anything. So at some point I want to get these rooms and like this chests completely filled up. As well as that, in here another change is that obviously instead of the base crafting table in here, I have got one of the time bending tables. Obviously this came with the Eternity Isle DLC and obviously can be used to craft completely different things, and have a different function than the base game crafting tables. So I decided to include that in here. It's a bit sad that there wasn't anything I could put in the Storybook Vale room that was like this. However, when we go in there, you'll see that obviously I just changed the room layout to kind of compensate for that. But in here I do obviously have the time bending table just to make it easy to be able to use it whenever I need to, whenever I'm crafting anything from the DLC. Now this is our final storage room for now, which is obviously our Storybook Vale storage room. I do actually have a video of me making this storage room, so I will link that in the description. But this one I made before the Storybook Vale came out. I wanted it to have a very kind of romantic storybook theme. So as you can see, I added lots of bookshelves around the edge. I think this is definitely my favourite storage room I have so far, just because I just like how it turned out. I've obviously got some more space in here, so I added the little seating area chairs just to give it some character, because obviously there was no crafting bench or anything to put in here. And I went with the red craftable chests in here. I did spend a lot of Dreamlight on them just because I wanted them to match the room. And again, went with some tables behind to display things on, and then obviously added 2 of the big tapestry frames to the wall, as well as the Maleficent and Hades window that we crafted. I'm just so happy with how it looks in here. Again, as you can see, I've obviously organised everything into different sections. Again, this is very similar to the Eternity Isle room, where there is not a huge amount of resources. I definitely have more stocked up in here than I do in my Eternity Isle room, just because obviously I've spent a lot more time in the Vale recently, obviously because it's newer and I just obviously prefer it. But obviously went for a similar kind of structure with organisation. Again, I could probably tweak this to be biome specific, which I think in here would be quite helpful, just because sometimes I do genuinely forget which biomes things come from in the Vale, because it's not as clear, I don't think, as the other kind of biomes we have. But for now, obviously I haven't got enough stockpiled to kind of have that organised yet. Now, something I really do like in the Vale room is being able to obviously have the chest for the snippets. So obviously I have displayed the snippets on the table behind and kept them quite organised. Obviously I'm at the point now where I've done everything in the Vale, so I pretty much don't need the snippets anymore. But at some point I would like to get them all stocked up, just in case we may ever need them for other things. But for the moment they are kind of more just for decoration than anything. But I really love how they look, and they obviously fit into the aesthetic of the room, and obviously mean things can be displayed easily. So that is all 3 of my current storage rooms, as well as like the lobby area. This is all on the 2nd floor of my main house. As I said, I could definitely expand this. I know that it's a pretty condensed storage area compared to a lot of people. I know a lot of people have like a whole floor for each map, and like rooms for specific items, which I highly respect. I personally just like to keep things more condensed. It makes gameplay a lot smoother for me. I don't have to, you know, run into 10 different rooms to empty my filled up pockets. I just don't have the patience for that. Whereas being able to just go into the specific room for the specific map just works so much better for me, and obviously things being quicker in game. So that's what I went for. Obviously at some point soon I'm going to be starting a storage room for Wish Blossom Ranch, the new DLC coming out at the end of the year. This will probably be on my next floor up, so we will be heading onto the 3rd floor, so I'll be doing like a lobby area as well as a room for that. So look out for a video of that at some point soon, because I want to get that started and start kind of designing around that. So that's very exciting. But let me know down below what you thought of the storage room. Sorry it's taken me so long to do this video. I know a lot of you have been asking for a long time, but I finally obviously got them to a point where I'm happy with them and I haven't really changed them in a while. But let me know down below what you think, how you have your storage kind of set up in game, and what you like to do to keep things organized. And I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate it so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.